Pat Allen is unapologizing, radical, and shocking. She is also the one who could tell us the unspoken truth about men and women, the one who can clear the whole mess up, and the one who can teach us how to be happy in love. For 25 years, she has worked as a marriage counselor, family therapist, consultant, national speaker, and she gives workshops in Los Angeles to the brightest stars and the most powerful executives. She has devoted her life to teaching others how to bridge the gender gap, and she's the author of 3 books, Getting to I Do, Staying Married and Loving It, and Conversational Rape. Welcome, Pat. Why do some men commit and others don't?
Well, there's 2 ways to look at that. One is we're now studying the chemistry called vasopressin. Vasopressin is it's a neuropeptide just like oxytocin. We're studying it in animals right now, little voyles, and little mice. One strain has it, one doesn't. And the one that has it nests, and the one that doesn't hits and runs. So it may very easily be that some men's chemistry does not allow them to be monogamous. We know that men are built to be polygamous by nature. Women are built to be monogamous. It's in children's best interest.
Right.
You see? So there's a couple of great books. Sperm Wars and The Selfish Gene are great books on this. But the issue of chemical non-committability is literally a neurological, hormonal, neuropeptide problem with some men. With other men, they are so charismatic, they're so narcissistic, they're so feminine and magnetic, gorgeous, and they're so intellectually predatory that they basically can manipulate women into having premature sex, bonding them, and never signing a contract. Men marry intellectually when they sign contracts. Yes. Governments and churches are designed to get men to sign contracts rather than just shoot it out.
Why do women marry? You say women don't fall in love. They should be in love with
themselves. Women are supposed to be in love with themselves. I love David Buss's book. I'm like a bibliographical,
That's good.
out there. Just read the books.
Sweet.
David Buss wrote a book about the Harvard study, 10,000 people interviewed. Why did you mate and marry? All over the world. One person usually mates, and I don't care if it's gay, straight, or lesbian, one person mates for status and financial stability. The other person mates for sensuous, that's a home, and sexual security. Some men, 2/3 men marry for sensuous and sexual. 2/3 of the women marry for status and security. But there are 1/3 of the men that marry for sensuous and sexual, and 1/3 of the women that marry, for the opposite. You see?
Yeah. So if you want to get a man to do something for you, and
yes.
you're a woman,
yes,
marry you or just
you
treat you a certain way, how do you talk about that? How do you get him to do without saying anything?
First of all, they have to want something from you. If a man is not attracted to you, you have no leverage. If he's not chemically attracted and you can't say, no sex unless we're in a committed, monogamous, long-term, going towards marriage relationship, and he says, what do you mean? I don't buy anything without checking it out. And he goes off with his little cheaper ladies. Do you see what I'm saying? Then he says, how did she get away? How did she withstand the barrage of my charismatic, narcissistic schmooze and my car and my money? And what she was she's in virtue and in love with herself. So the first thing is, if a man isn't interested, then you're not his woman. And the problem today is women pick the men they're interested in and they chase, and the men get free deals.
Right.
Totally free deals.
And the women give too much.
Well, yeah.
They give too much, and you say a woman has to love a man. I mean, he has to give back.
No.
He has to give, and she has to give.
No, I didn't say that.
Something.
I said the person who wishes to be the masculine energy. I'm not a sexist. I don't believe you have to have a male body to be a man. There are some wonderful women with men's bodies, and every man on the planet knows there are some wonderful men with women's bodies.
Right, but the female energy.
That's right.
Female, excuse me. Okay, the female. I have to start learning how to talk like that.
That's exactly
because,
right.
The female energy has to give back less than she gets from the male.
That's right. You know those little balls that go boing, boing, boing,
Yes.
boing, boing?
Yes.
What happens if they boing together? The whole mechanism stops. Perpetual motion. The exchange of energy is he or she who gives, protects, and cherishes does it to set the machinery in motion, and then the other person gives back to make it worth their while. No one is just this black hole in space that's magnetically sucking up everybody's energy. You have to give back. Men are feminine inside. There's never going to be a woman as feminine as a man, and there's never going to be a man as masculine as a woman inside. And that's the yin and the yang. You have a girl's body, but you have a male soul, the animus. And a man has a male body, but he has a feminine soul. Now, how you use that connection between your body and your soul, that's the spiritual path.
We as women, as little girls, Pat, we're taught to always give and give.
I've got news for you. That's in men's best interest. Well, Women's Lib did one thing. It told us that until we get ours, they don't get theirs. But the problem is, it doesn't work equally after work.
Right.
There has to be the exchange.
Right. But some people, Pat, probably have called you anti-feminist, and that's really not what you are at all.
Well, they can't call me that because I'm too successful to call me an anti-feminist. I have all the benefits of Women's Lib. I have the offices and the career and the books and the whatever, but I also have one other thing that took me a long time to get. A man that fits me. Do you see? That fits my life.
Yes.
And that's showing my daughters. Since I've been with him, my formerly Women's Lib daughters have just gradually worked their way into being married.
I'm glad you brought up your personal life, Pat,
Yes,
because
why not?
it's fascinating. You said you tried to balance career and home, and that caused a problem.
I've been married 4 times.
4 times.
And I did 18 years single studying this.
Wow.
Yes. The first one was to get out of the house as a virgin, God forbid. Do you know what I mean? The second one was a cowboy. I bought him a Harley Davidson, and
he took off on it.
He took off on it with all the furniture, and I went bankrupt. You know, he was my investigation of the cute ones. Then I married a friend. You know, God forbid you should marry a friend.
Oh, really?
I mean, we had a wonderful friendship. Don't marry a friend. But we're still friends.
Right. But during all this time, you were working, getting your degrees.
Oh, of course I was. I was doing my internship and raising my kids and whatever.
Right. So I'm sure the husband didn't like the fact that you were going out and, you know, growing, and
no, the first one didn't. The second one did, because then I could pay for more things.
I see.
And the third one was a friend, and he had me. In order to marry him, I had to teach him to play the piano. I bought him a set of earmuffs so he could protect his ears for my children, and then I abandoned him a great deal. But we went sailing every Sunday until I decided to free him. Now he's married to a woman that's totally appropriate. Do you see?
I see.
And we still have dinner, the 4 of us, once a month.
That's wonderful. And now you're happy, Pat.
I am. The word happy is as much of an accident in life as unhappy. I am comfortable.
Okay.
I have a man who supports my career, but is at home a man. Do you see? He's very extroverted. You know, he can talk his way into and out of anything. When I go off the stage or the camera, I'm really an introvert. I like reading, and I'm quite quiet, and so he's the right husband for me.
I see.
Now, the man I was with for 10 years before him looked like the right, he was a gorgeous Italian, lawyer, but he wasn't right for me.
I see. Right.
And this man was my friend all during that time, and when I would bitch and moan about my other, he said, you don't have to be there, but he never badmouthed it. But the first date after I had split up, he proposed.
Wow.
And I knew it was right, because he was already my best friend.
He came to your seminars, my
Absolutely.
God.
He came to the
Watched
seminar,
your work
watched
and
the
then
stuff,
got all
and
the
used
techniques.
my stuff to get me.
Exactly. Oh, how brilliant.
I think that's cute.
I do too. I met him. He's wonderful.
He is a wonderful man for me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Pat, I wanted to talk about this book. We have a few more minutes conversation on rape. because that's really, you know, where it begins in the language.
Yes.
And in the beginning of growing up. And if we don't know how to talk to each other, then we're going to get nowhere.
That's right.
So, a transactional analysis. And you also did want training. Could you tell us a little
Want
bit?
training is my doctoral work. My doctoral work is androgynous, that's everybody's male and female.
Right.
Androgynous, semantic, talk as if you're rational and sane before you are. We can't wait. You'll be losing your life. It takes 3 to 6 years to get it authentic, you know, until what you say is what you mean and what you mean is what you say. So I teach people how to sound as if they're rational before they are, and then they get the results. So Eric Berne took Sigmund Freud and turned him into parent-adult child. I'm a certified transactional analyst. I'm also certified Harvard University Medical School in addictions and alcoholism and sexual addiction. So what I do with people is to help them ask for what they want. What energy is that, male or female?
Okay. That's male.
And for people to say no to what they don't want, because no means I don't feel good. So generally speaking, once a person knows what their personality needs are, they can start developing, I want this. And I have a little gimmick called amigo talk.
Right.
For example, if a man wants to be really respected, say what you want and think and ask your partner what they feel about it and ask how you may help them feel better. Now, if you want to be cherished, ask your partner what they think about this and that, what they want, and how you might help them get it. And when you want to switch roles, get permission. It's called, Audrey, I want to share a thought and an idea now. How do you feel about me doing that? Or, Audrey, I want to share some negative feelings. What do you think about that? See, when you switch roles, because we all want to be respected, we all want to be cherished, but when we do it at the same time, we're narcissistic. And that means we cover the waterfront, and our partner has nowhere to stand.
Gotcha. We only have a few minutes left.
Yes.
And I'd like you do pledges in your workshop.
Yes.
Can you leave us with a pledge for the woman who is the feminine energy?
All right. Raise your hands. I promise, on my honor, never to give anything to an able-bodied human being over the age of 10, especially to men, especially with money and sex, until I get what I need and want first.
Okay.
So help me God.
So help me God. And for the male?
For the male, it's, well, I'm not male, I promise, on my honor, to give, protect, and cherish the women, kids, animals, and planet in my life, even when they're irrational, illogical, and irritating. So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you, Pat.
You're
so much
welcome.
for joining me.